So, I used to rent this townhouse in the woods with my ex. It was one of those places that felt perfect at first. Quiet, secluded, the kind of place you go to get away from everything. There was nothing around for miles, so the isolation was both peaceful and a little unsettling. Everything seemed normal at first, but when things started happening, well, I still struggled to find a logical explanation. One night, I was working late, around 3 in the morning, when my phone rang. It was my ex, and right away, I could tell something was wrong. Her voice was shaky, panicked. She sounded breathless and kept on repeating, "Someone's in the house." I jumped out of my chair and immediately started driving home. My mind was racing, thinking I had to get there, that someone had broken in and I needed to help. It was a long drive, and the whole time I couldn't shake the thought that something horrible was happening. When I got home, she was pacing, still on edge. She pointed to the stairs, and that's when I saw it. The wooden baby gate we used to keep our puppy downstairs was lying at the top of the stairs. It wasn't just knocked over, it was flung. There was no way the puppy could have done it. She'd been locked in her cage all night. And the gates weren't the kind that just fell down easily. This thing had traveled up the stairs, hit the ceiling, left a mark, and then fallen in a crumpled mess on the floor. We double-checked the doors. All of them were locked from the inside. Nothing was broken. No windows were open. It made no sense. Still, we figured maybe it was some freak accident. Stupid of me in hindsight, but I wasn't sure what else to think. That night, I couldn't sleep. Something felt off. I couldn't shake the feeling that we weren't alone. A few weeks went by and things got weirder. We were in the kitchen one evening, just talking. I had just finished cleaning the cat's feeder station and set it on the counter. It had weight to it. I mean, it wasn't something that could be moved easily. We were chatting, and then, out of nowhere, the feeder started to levitate, as if something unseen had gripped it. It rose onto its side and balanced there, before gently falling onto its back, upside down. It didn't crash, it just landed with a soft tap. I was stunned. That feeder was heavy. It was difficult to even move it by hand, let alone have it move like that with no sound. After that, it was like things kept piling up. I'd walk into the kitchen and the silverware drawer would slam shut on its own. No explanation. It wasn't like I was pulling on it. It just happened. Then our puppy started acting weird. She would stare at the corner of the room, not moving, not blinking. And sometimes she'd slowly back away from the spot, like she was afraid of something there. That was unsettling enough. But then, the deadbolt on one of the doors started acting weird too. Every time I'd leave the house, I'd make sure the door was locked. I'd check the deadbolt, give it a few twists to make sure. But when I came back, the door would be wide open, not unlocked, just open, wide open, every time. There was no sign of anyone else being around. I even checked the yard a few times just in case, but no footprints, no signs of anyone being there. And then there were the nightmares. I don't really know how to explain them, except to say they were vivid. They weren't just weird dreams. They felt real. And when I woke up, I felt like something was still in the room with me, like something had been watching me while I slept. I tried to brush it all off, tried to convince myself that it was just a series of coincidences, that the doors and the noises could be explained. But deep down, I knew something wasn't right. I couldn't explain it, but I didn't feel safe there anymore. It felt like we were being watched all the time, like there was something that didn't want us in that house. I'm not saying I believe in ghosts or whatever, but after everything that happened there, I don't know. I just can't explain it. All I know is that when we left that place, it was a huge relief. I don't know if something was in that house or if it was all just some freak coincidence. But I do know this. I'm not quick to dismiss things anymore. And that house? Well, it's one of those places that I'll always remember and never want to go back to. I never believed in ghosts growing up. Not really. Sure, I heard the stories, the kind that make your skin crawl late at night, but I figured they were just that. Stories. Creepy? Sure. Entertaining? Absolutely. But real? Nah. Not until I turned 36, and that's when everything changed. There was this house that came up for rent just outside of town, way out in the sticks, kind of isolated. It had been built in the late 1800s, and from the listing photos, it looked like it still had a lot of that old charm. Rustic, big, kind of weathered. My buddy and his wife were looking for a place, so we decided to go check it out together. The drive out was quiet. The roads narrowed the farther we got, until we were deep in the woods. When we finally pulled up, I actually thought the place looked kind of badass. It had that antique feel, big porch, wide layout, tons of character. Inside, it felt old, sure, but not spooky to me. Just creaky floorboards and thick air. But my friend's wife didn't like it at all. The second she stepped in, she went pale. She said it felt off, creepy even. We laughed it off, figured she was just being sensitive. I mean, the place was over 100 years old. Old houses feel weird sometimes. Later that night, I decided to show the house to this girl I was seeing, Ellie. She was into weird places and urban legends, so I figured she'd get a kick out of it. We walked through the first floor, the kitchen, the living room, dining room, and a small bathroom. Nothing out of the ordinary. Then we went upstairs. 5 bedrooms, each one with a view that stretched out over the trees and hills. Honestly, I was starting to think the place was a hidden gem. And then I said, "Want to see the attic?" I don't know why I said it like that. I guess I was trying to impress her. That whole, "this place has secrets" vibe. So I walked over to the attic door at the end of the hall, reached for the knob, and opened it. And the second that door cracked open, something changed. I don't know how to describe it. The air got heavy. Ellie froze beside me. Then I felt it. Something passed through me, like walking through static. My chest tightened, like I couldn't take a full breath. Every hair on my neck stood straight up. Ellie whispered, "What was that?" I didn't answer. I was already shutting the door. Both of us had full-body goosebumps. Our eyes were watering, uncontrollably, like something was in the air. It felt like the house had released something we weren't supposed to breathe in. I tried to laugh it off. Told her it was probably just a pressure change, or dust, or maybe bad wiring. But the truth is, we got out of there as fast as we could. We didn't even talk much on the drive back, and the whole way, that feeling stuck with us. Eyes burning, skin crawling. The next day, I told a few of my buddies. Guys who aren't exactly the ghost story type. They wanted to check it out themselves, so we headed back out. When we pulled up, the owner was there, and I figured I'd ask him if anything weird had ever happened. He kind of paused, looked at me, and said, "You know there's a cemetery on the back of the property, right?" I didn't. He went on to tell us that a 17-year-old girl was buried there. She died in that house, pushed down the attic stairs. That hit me like a punch to the chest. After that, I couldn't bring myself to go back in. Something about hearing it from the owner, right there in front of the house. It made everything click. That feeling in the attic, the goosebumps, the pressure. I couldn't pretend it was just air or bad wiring anymore. Later, I posted about it on a local Facebook page, just to see if anyone else had heard anything. A woman messaged me almost immediately. She said it was her uncle's house, and she knew about the attic. Said she'd stayed there as a kid. And even now, as an adult, she refuses to set foot in that place again. She called it Annie's place. That was the girl's name. Writing this out now, I'm honestly struggling. My eyes are watering again. My neck feels tense. That feeling is back, the one I got when I opened the attic door. It's like it's reaching through the memory. I still don't know exactly what happened in that house, but ever since that night, I haven't doubted things I used to laugh off. Some places carry something with them, and some doors, once you open them, part of you doesn't walk back out. I'm 31 now, but I still think about what happened when I was 6. And I remember it like it happened yesterday. Back then, I didn't even know what the word paranormal meant. I was just a kid, afraid of the dark, and the scariest thing I'd seen was Ghost with Patrick Swayze. I wasn't looking for anything strange, but the house we lived in, well, it had other plans. It was an old place, built in 1908. The upstairs was laid out like this. You'd go up a flight of stairs, hit a landing, turn left, then go up a few more into the hallway. To the right was my brother's room and the bathroom. To the left was mine, then my parents' bedroom. My bed was against the wall, right next to the door. I always slept with my door wide open. I was scared of being shut in. My parents and brother slept with theirs closed, but we kept the bathroom light on, just slightly dimmed. It spilled a soft glow into the hall. It made me feel safe. The light had one of those push-in rotary dimmers. You had to press the knob and twist it. There was no way for it to turn off unless someone physically adjusted it. But for 2 years straight, that light, it would dim on its own. It started small. I'd wake up in the middle of the night, maybe 2 or 3 in the morning. Nothing in particular woke me. I'd just be wide awake. And every time, I'd find myself staring at the light reflected on my door. I noticed that the light started to dim, fainter, slowly fading, until the hallway went completely black. No sound, no click, just darkness. I'd get up, shuffle to the bathroom, twist the knob back to the setting we always used, then crawl back to bed. And as soon as I lay down, I'd fall asleep. It became routine. It happened a couple of times a week, like clockwork. I really couldn't explain it, and I guess I was too young to ask the right questions. Then, one night, everything changed. I woke up to a strange sensation, my head dipping into the mattress. Something felt wrong. I looked over. My pillow was on the floor. It didn't make sense. I had a waterbed, the kind with raised padded edges. It was designed to keep things from sliding off. But there it was, on the floor by my doorway. Weird, but I was tired. I grabbed it, climbed back in, and drifted off. Then it happened again. Same feeling, head sinking, pillow gone. Now I was getting really annoyed. The third time, I stomped to the bathroom and turned the light on full. Used the toilet, stared at the bright hallway, and went back to bed with the light blazing. I wanted it to stay on. But later that night, I woke up again, just in time to watch the light fade. I was watching it dim, and this time, I didn't care. I was too tired to move. Then, the pillow. Again. Except this time, I felt it happen. It started to slip from under my head. Slowly, deliberately. It slid across the edge of the bed, dragging. I tried staying still. I knew my brother had to be messing with me, and I was ready to catch him. I tensed up, waited, then snapped upright and stared straight at the doorway. And what I saw is something I'll never forget. There was a shadowy hand on my pillow. Not just a regular shadow. No. This was darker, darker than the dark around it. Pitch black. Blacker than the hall. Blacker than the room. Like it was cut out of the world. My eyes followed it. I saw a crouched figure, shoulders, a head, all completely black, without any features, but I could see it. It was right there. And then, it looked at me. The speed it moved its head made me jolt. Its face, if you can call it that, was a void. No eyes, no mouth, just solid black. But it was looking straight at me. I knew it. I could feel it. I screamed, as loud as I could. I've never screamed like that before, or since. The thing jerked back, like my voice physically harmed it. It dropped the pillow, backed out of the doorway, and I heard it run. Heavy, fast footsteps pounding down the hallway. Then a door slammed shut. My mum burst in seconds later, terrified. I was shaking, crying so hard I couldn't speak. Eventually, I choked out what I saw. She thought it was my brother playing a prank. Stormed down the hall, threw open his door. Nothing. She looked around, checked the bathroom, his bed. Then came back and told me I had a nightmare. But I know she didn't believe it. She let me sleep in her bed that night, locked the door, held me until I finally passed out. And my brother? He wasn't even home. I don't know what I saw. I really don't know how to explain it. But I know I wasn't asleep. It wasn't a dream, and I know I wasn't imagining it. But I know something was in that hallway. And to this day, I still don't know what it wanted from me, or what it would have done if I hadn't woken up when I did.